So for this project, I'm using a 10 by 6 inch mold that I picked up on Amazon. I mixed up my resin off camera. The resin I'm using for this project is DICTION resin. DICTION resin is a 1-to-1 ratio resin that you mix slowly in a cup for 3 to 5 minutes, scraping the sides and the bottom to help prevent bubbles. So I used about 5 ounces, and this is going to be a 2-layer project. So this first layer, like I said, is 5 ounces. I poured it into the mold, and then I used the heat gun to get the bubbles out. DICTION resin has a 40-minute work time. They say you can demold it after 4 hours, but I have found that it's too sticky at 4 hours. You need to wait 6 to 8 hours if you were putting it in a mold where you would demold it. So this is going to sit for actually 8 hours after I've poured the resin in, and then I'm going to use the second layer and put flowers on it. And then I'm going to pour more resin over it. And the reason I'm doing it in 2 layers is if I was to put the glass directly down on the mold and pour the amount of resin that I want for the thickness I want, all of the glass would be submerged underneath the resin, and I don't want that. I want some of it on the top. So now it's been 8 hours and I am ready to make the flowers. I'm making the stems out of stained glass and out of VITRIGRAPH glass. The stained glass I had previously cut up and tumbled in my MJR 45-pound tumbler. So I'm finding that there's a wide range of time that you can tumble your stained glass for. Some people will tumble it for only an hour. You can tumble it up to a week, just depending on how smooth you want it. The VITRIGRAPH glass I got on Etsy, and it comes in, I believe, 4-ounce packages, and this is about the total of a 4-ounce package that you can see here, and it's for about $16. You can get it in all different colors, and you can use it for all different applications. And here I'm using it for stems. I have used some of the black ones and maybe the white ones for whiskers before. But as you can imagine, there's all sorts of things that you could use it for. So next you'll see me cutting up the VITRIGRAPH glass for the other stems. The VITRIGRAPH glass, you can use the nipper tool to cut to the length that you want. Now some areas of the VITRIGRAPH glass is too thin to cut with the nipper tool, but you can actually snap it with your fingers to the length that you want it. So all the glass that I'm using for the petals is actually tumbled glass. I find my glass at garage sales and thrift stores, break it up, and tumble it in my tumbler. When you break up glass, it breaks up in all different ways, and some breaks into tiny little pieces, and I usually separate out my small pieces from my large pieces. So the red glass was actually red glass, and the blue glass, but the yellow actually started out as clear glass, and I spray painted it with the Krylon stained glass spray paint. In the center of each of the yellow flowers, I put a blue bead. In the center of each of the red flowers, I put some seed beads, 4 little black seed beads. And then I put the butterflies at the top, and that again is tumbled glass. And at the very bottom, I'm putting Dollar Tree glass. You can actually get glass at Dollar Tree in the back by the garden or the vase filler section, and it's $1.25 for a pound of glass. And then this darker green glass is called Mosaic Accents that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. I'm using it for the leaves on the yellow flowers and also to add a little more color to the very bottom of the project. So the leaves for the blue and the red flowers is just stained glass that I've nipped with the nipper tool, and then I do sprinkle some blue glass at the very top, and this blue glass is actually tempered glass. That was a windshield that I had broke up a while back, and sprayed it with the cornflower blue Krylon spray paint. I thought that would just add a little bit of color. So next I mixed up another 3 ounces of resin. So I talked about the resin a little bit at the beginning. This is DICTION resin that I'm using, and I used 5 ounces for the first layer and 3 ounces for the second layer. And I'm just drizzling it over the glass, and I'm trying to drizzle it around that yellow glass. Although that yellow glass does look pretty dark, I think I've talked multiple times before that when you put resin over a light colored glass, it makes it more translucent and lighter, and sometimes it's very difficult to see. So I do try to kind of go around the yellow glass instead of directly on top of it with the resin. So this needs to sit on a flat level surface overnight. And like I said, you can demold it. It says after 4 hours, but I actually waited, I think it was 8 hours, because after 4 hours, the resin is really too sticky. So I waited a total of 8 hours. This is it after 16 hours. The bottom layer for 8 hours, the top layer for 8 hours. And it says for the DICTION resin that it takes a full 24 hours for it to cure, but I still feel like it can be kind of bendy after 24 hours. So here I am, kind of bending it. And I'm trying to be very careful. And what I'm doing is I'm setting it in my circular mold, but I have that bucket sitting there because I thought about putting it over the bucket at first. I have some tape ready, but I decided I was going to try this because I didn't want it to mess up the back of it. So I just kind of bent it and then put a little bit of the painter's tape on it in hopes that it wouldn't ruin it in any way. I actually did that at 5 in the morning, and I was up at the food pantry that day because it was a Friday, and so it sat there for 7 hours with the painter's tape on it. When I came home, I took the tape off. Hey everyone, so I think this turned out so cool that it can stand up on its own. And let me put this down just a little so that you can see. So this is actually the second one that I made. The first one I had kind of messed up, so I wanted to do another one to make sure it worked all right. And what I did with the very first one was I took it, and instead of, so for this one I just bent it and did the tape. But for the first one, I took it and I put it over this container like that, and I taped it down. But for some reason, in the center, this is actually the first one I did, the center of it on the back kind of got messed up. So I don't know if it wasn't set up enough and it scraped it, but it actually, that's what it looked like, was a little scrape. So what I did to fix it, and I still don't think it's perfect, that's why I ended up doing another one, was I actually sanded it down with 80 grit sandpaper and then took UV resin and kind of went back and forth over the whole thing and covered it. Because if you were to use regular resin, which takes forever to set up, it would just pool right in the middle, and it, you know, with it being curved like this. So I did that. It didn't turn out perfect, but like a dummy, I was doing it outside. I wasn't in the sunlight, I was in the shade area, but I don't know if maybe that made it start to set up, and it got kind of thick in the center there, but it still turned out good. But anyway, so this one was the one that I did the tape, and I just want to show you the difference. They both look pretty much the same, but this one, the one that I did with the tape, is a little bit wonky, and this one is more of a curved better, I think. You guys might not even notice the difference, I don't know. So look at, so this is, let me put them side by, let's see if you can see it. So this top one, you can see how it's not quite curved right, but it still looks good. But anyway, so I just wanted to show you the difference. So I think, honestly, I think this is the best idea. But the main thing with this is that you don't have it all the way cured because you won't be able to bend it. So the bottom part was about 8 hours, and the top layer with the glass was about 8 hours. So it was a total of 16 hours. Supposedly the DICTION resin takes 24 hours to completely cure, but after 24 hours, I don't really think it's completely cured because you can still manipulate it. So, but this was after 16 hours, and so the back had already been set for 16 hours, whereas the top only 8, but this would be what would be touching the plastic container.
So anyway, I thought that was the best deal. I don't know what scraped the back of it. I don't really think it had anything to do with the plastic container, but I just wanted to, so that was the second one I did, make sure that it still worked. But anyway, so anyway, I think it turned out really cute. I think it's so cool that it stands up by itself. And I think it looks just like, if you go look up fused glass, this is really what it looks like. And they do it on pieces of glass, and then they take it and lay it on a slumping mold, they call it. So this would be like a slumping mold. They lay this flat piece of glass on it and then put it in the kiln, and it makes it kind of melt and go from side to side. Of course, you wouldn't put plastic in a kiln, but anyway, that's how they do the fused glass. And well, they fuse it flat first and then do that. But anyway, I thought they looked so cool. And I don't know, I love the colors in it too. And all the different glass at the top and at the bottom. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I just got back from garage sales. The only thing I got though was these two vases, $1 each. There's a good thing about going to garage sales late, and there's a bad thing about going to garage sales late. The good thing is you get the better deals, because whatever they have left, they're just kind of wanting to get rid of. So I got this for $1, and I got this for $1, believe it or not. And this is really thick green glass. This will make nice leaves. This is great for tumbling. Break it up and tumble. And this is fairly thick as well for a bowl. It's such a pretty bowl. It kind of reminds me of a sunflower with the little bumpies there. And this was $1 also. She says, what do you want to pay for it? I said $1, and she took it. So the bad thing about going late to the garage sales, a lot of times all the good stuff is gone. But anyway, sign up for the Facebook channel. I started that just so that we could all see what everybody was making and not just me. I figured you guys would want to see too. Everybody has such great ideas and gives me ideas, probably gives you guys ideas. And you know, some of you have been doing it for years, longer than I have. And so I can learn from you guys. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And I hope you guys all have a great day. Thanks for watching.